Brutal Legend for Xbox 360 and PS3. It's the most metal game to ever come out on any fucking video game console, guaranteed. And it really is, too. And it's probably one of the most awesome games that ever came out for this generation, for any metalhead, that is. Now, mind you, if you don't really like metal a whole bunch, you might not be able to, firmly grasp exactly how awesome this game is, because it's not as relevant to you. But goddamn, if you are a metalhead, like myself, and many other people that I know, watching this even, this game deserves your unfucking divided attention. But here's the thing, to review this, I thought, man, this is the most metal game ever. I mean, a game of this metal magnitude, it doesn't need just one metalhead to review it, it needs two. So without further ado, I present to you God's Immortal Gauntlet. Take it away.
Brutal Legend! Hello people, and metal up your fucking ass! I'm gonna review Brutal Legend's fucking gameplay and music, alright? So, let's get right fucking to it, alright? Yeah! First of all, the gameplay. You start off with an axe. It's not too special, alright? But you can have some fun with it, slashing around. There's a lot of blood, so it's cool, alright? The second weapon, however, which you can use to combo with the axe, which makes the axe kind of special anyway, is the guitar. When you hit the fucking guitar, you shoot electricity on your fucking enemies, and they die! It's blood fucking everywhere. You can shoot flames and everything out of this motherfucker, alright? As you progress the story, you can unlock solos for this guitar. You can summon animals, you can summon a fucking car. How fucking cool is that, alright? I want to summon a fucking car. Now this car that you can summon with your guitar, that was given to you by the metal gods, the Deuce. You can drive across the plains in Brutal Legend with this fucking car, and you can actually upgrade it with experience points that you can earn by doing side quests. The side quest which you can do during your open world exploration with this car is driving cold beer to your troops, cause they're fucking thirsty, alright? And the second thing is racing a fucking ugly lizard looking motherfucker, alright? So basically you earn experience points from all this. And then, I didn't mention it before, but when you upgrade your car, you can get fucking huge cannons, you can get a huge motor, you can change the painting, you can get fucking wings, not real wings, just the body paint, alright? And none other than Ozzy Osbourne gives you these upgrades. He has tons of fucking awesome comments every time you buy something. In this shop you can also upgrade your combos, your axe combos, your guitar combos, everything. You can change the look of your guitar, change the body paint, change the type of strings. You can get flaming guitar, ice guitar, whatever, man, electric guitar. It's fucking awesome. This is the best part of Brutal Legend, in fact. Now, when it comes to an epic feature that comes later on in the story, I don't know if I want to spoil it, but here we fucking go. Turn off if you don't want to listen to this shit, alright? You get troops, you get Metalhead troops, which you can summon with the guitar solo, so you can get fans, alright? Then you can use these fans to get troops to fight for you, and later on you can get demon wings and fly across the battlefield fighting this ugly glam rock fucker that you're fighting throughout the game, alright? So that's kind of the basics of all the gameplay in Brutal Legend that I have to say. Now it's time to talk about the music in Brutal Legend! So, this game basically got tons of band music. Black Sabbath, you got fucking Ozzy Osbourne, you got, there's tons, there's fucking Metallica, there's Megadeth, Testament, all the great thrash bands, and Motorhead. You got shitloads of music in this game, and you can listen to it at any fucking time, as long as you're in the Deuce, driving down animals, you're crushing enemies, listening to fucking heavy metal. Can it get any fucking better than this in a game? It's a dream come true. This is the only game that got this kind of metal spirit. No one will ever measure up to it. I swear to fucking God. Now, when it comes to the grade of this game, I'm not sure exactly what I want to give it, because if I'm a critical gamer, I can say that the axe fighting is a little bit stiff, you know? The brakes on the Deuce is a bit annoying. Sometimes I was driving every fucking where because the controls weren't ace, you know? So if I keep the metal spirit and say, ooh, this is a fucking metal game, I want to give it fucking 10 out of 10. But I gotta be fucking clever, alright? So I give this game 8.5. Ha ha ha. So thank you, Alpha Omega Sin, for cooperating with me doing this fucking review, alright?
Like he said before, the soundtrack is amazing, and it's probably one of the biggest game soundtracks you're ever going to find anywhere. Now, keep in mind that myself, as a diehard fan of metal, there was bands on there that I had never even listened to, and I actually got into more bands just from going through all the songs I found. Now, you can go throughout the world and you can unlock more songs. They're strewn all throughout the world. You find them, you unlock them when you're driving around. You can go through the track list and play them, which is really cool. Anybody that's familiar with Grand Theft Auto and how it works with the radio stations, you're pretty much going to be at home when playing this. But the nice thing is that there's over 75 bands and over 170 songs. That's a whole fucking lot. Like, when I sat there to think about it, it's just like, is this serious? Like, is there really this many songs in it? And there are. I mean, it's like jam-packed, filled to the brim with music, and really good songs too. I mean, there's a lot of world legendary songs, ones that pretty much help define what the genre was as a whole. And then there's stuff that you may not have actually heard of before, but could really get into, so it helps pretty much like broaden your horizons as far as like musical taste will go, or you're just looking for new bands and stuff, or just looking for songs from the bands you already like but you never heard this one song. It's pretty cool that they have that. And overall, when you're driving around within a world like this, hearing songs like that, it pretty much like it sets a mood like in your head that this is definitely like a metal world. It's got the metal music, it's got the look, it's got the feel, it's got everything. Now the story follows the world's best roadie ever, and that was Eddie Riggs. Now, Eddie Riggs, who's voiced by Jack Black, happens to be the man. He pretty much can build any kind of stage whatsoever. Doesn't matter how elaborate this is, he can build it. And if your guitar is literally smashed into 1,000 fucking pieces, your drum set pretty much is on fire and burning to the fucking, like, dirt. You know, your bass was pissed on. It doesn't matter. This dude would be able to clean it up and fix it and get that shit working. No questions asked. That's what a roadie does. The roadie works in the background, and they make sure that the band looks good. And that's something that Jack Black's character, Eddie, actually makes a point of. But the thing is, he goes from being the man behind the stage to becoming a full-out hero in a world that's just metal. And it's really neat seeing how this world works, because they actually like have a history and a story behind, you know, how did this come to be? And it's pretty much like a good versus evil type story. It's not the most, like, you know, unique story. I can dig a good versus evil story so long as it's presented well, and this is. I mean, you know, it's got comedy aspects, it's got like a little romance in it, it's got its action and everything, it's got its drama. It covers all of its bases just fine. But it's a fact that it's done really well, and anybody who's like a metal enthusiast will be able to watch it and enjoy it. But it definitely does help that strewn all throughout, no matter, you know, how serious it gets, no matter like how dark mood will get. Jack Black actually maintains like a comedic flair throughout the entire thing, and that's something I appreciate a lot about it. Add into the fact that you have a bunch of metal icons who voice themselves within the game and are all throughout the story with you. That's something that's also really cool, and I actually liked a whole lot. Like, it was just neat being able to see them, like, you know, in like a digital way, like an old video game form, all polygons and shit like that, and see them like helping you on missions and like killing shit and shooting stuff and driving stuff, and it's just really cool. So as far as the story goes, I can say I really like it. You know, if you play throughout the entire thing, watch all the story segments, they're worth it, but there's also hidden story segments that explain like the history of the world, like, you know, the metal gods and everything, and how everything came to be. It was kind of like, you know, like creation itself within the metal world. They're hidden around everywhere. When you find them, unlock them, and each time that you do, it'll play out for you. They are most definitely worth finding. They're not extremely hard to find either. Like, they're pretty easy to see. So whenever you see them, go play your little solo at them and just enjoy the living shit out of it. Now, one of the main things that'll really get the story going and kind of give you like a good idea of exactly what you're dealing with is the very intro of the game. You see, whenever Eddie Riggs starts out, he just starts out having to be, unfortunately, the fucking helping hand of one of the worst bands ever. You remember way back in like the 90s, early 2000s when Limp Bizkit was like big shit, like little metal rock rap crap, stupid fucking Fruit Loop Troop fucking ass clown express group decided that they were gonna like be hot shit on MTV and all that. Well, just imagine them, but in a video game. So yeah, more or less, they decided that they were gonna make their own rendition of some crap ass little fucking band that you just want to beat the living shit out of because they're the biggest fucking bunch of faggots who have ever even been dropped onto anything. And Eddie Riggs, the world's best fucking roadie, unfortunately, is having to stand there and listen to their music and actually help them on top of that. So yeah, you know what? Here, I'll let you guys check it out.
Watch it. Dude, check it. Oh, hey, Riggs. Sorry I smashed your guitar last night. What the?
It's like new.
Whoa, how'd you do that? Yeah, I'll try not to smash it so much this time.
Don't mess with that guy. He scares me. Hey, Eddie, man. I hate to ask, but our manager wanted to know, when are you gonna build us, like, a new set? This Stonehenge stuff was funny in a kind of ironic retro sort of way, but... Look, Eddie, don't get me wrong. You're the best, okay? The greatest roadie in the biz. Everybody knows you can fix anything, build anything. Well, so maybe you could build us something that would speak more to our tween demographic. Is all I'm saying. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to join the modern world, you know? All right! Do you people want to hear some heavy metal?
I can fix anything, except that.
Metal is dead.
Awful, like I said, but it's pretty fucking funny. I was just glad that they died. I mean, that just puts a big smile on my face. And it's not really like anything that you're gonna be like, oh no, I just saw this scene, that's a spoiler. It's at the very beginning of the game. So if you start up the game and you let it play for like 10 minutes, you'll be seeing that. And so yeah, it's a good introduction to the game. And it's really funny just see stuff like that because there's been tons of times where I was kind of like that, staying with somebody, and I just heard like this lame gay fucking music, and me and my friends were just like, oh god, this is what the fuck people want to listen to? Oh, fuck this, man. Music's dead. And we're just unhappy listening to it, but it doesn't matter because there's tons of new metal bands out there that are fucking awesome. And they would just stomp the shit out of this band anyway. Ha! Now, beyond all the typical one-player mode that they have in there where you get to go around through the world and just kick the living shit out of everything and check out the story and find all the hidden goodies that are strewn throughout everywhere and hidden in the world, there's actually an online versus multiplayer, which happens to be pretty kick-ass. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to find somebody else who's playing, but when you do, it's really neat. It's an extremely unique experience. Anytime that if you're playing the game, if you've ever been like the boss battles and everything, where it's kind of just, you know, you're on one side of the map, the boss is on the other side of the map, and you're just building up your forces, running over, clobbering the shit out of each other, and just trying to like take over everything and fucking kill them. Well, guess what? Now I can do that online. Woohoo! What's also nice about it is that there's downloadable content which allows for more maps. There's actually like more upgrades that you can get for your car and everything, which will help you know, pretty much like get you more into this whole thing whenever you're going online fucking stuff up. So yeah, it's kind of nice that they added it in. It sucks whenever you can't find anybody because you'll be in the mood to play and nobody will actually be there. But if more people go out and buy that game right now, since it's like only $20 brand new, then fucking right, yeah, there'll definitely be more people online. Now, one thing that was really cool, Eddie Riggs' character actually kind of jumped outside of the realm of being just in Brutal Legend and showed up on a promo actually for the heavy metal cartoon Metalocalypse. Now, for any of you who aren't actually familiar with it, you should get to watching it. It's on Adult Swim, and it's fucking awesome. But anyway, they had a promo for the upcoming season, and Eddie Riggs actually shows up to it. So let me cut to a clip of that right now.
Death Clock, what's up? Okay, guys, I set up the pyro, tuned all the guitars, and lined up chicks for everyone for after the show. Except for you, Murderface.
Why?
Sorry, dude, no takers.
Yeah, no problem.
Alright, cool. Just let me know if you need anything else.
Stop talking to me, or I'll fire you.
I'll be over there.
Hey, what do you guys think about that Eddie guy? Is he I can't tell, is he a d***, or is he cool?
Let's just fire him just to watch the look on his face. Ready? When he comes back, okay? But I likes him, 'cause he cuts the crust off my peanut butters and jelly sandwiches, and he looks like Danzig.
Yeah, but like young Danzig when he was still something.
Wait a minute, you get sandwiches? He's like a father's to me.
I don't know, Toki, he just doesn't seem to fit with the rest of the bag idiots that work for us, you know? I just don't think he's very metal.
No worries, guys, I got this. Don't get up, Death Clock, I'm on it!
What's this, Bloods?
I'll have those cleaned and polished in no time. See? No problem. Just killed it, that's all.
Wow, that's pretty good. Well, totally awesome.
That's pretty metal. Okay, I guess I can stay.
Yeah, but Ghost makes me a sandwich. No, take a sandwich too!
No way, dude.
After seeing something like that, it made me wish that the character actually just was on Metalocalypse all the time. Because Death Clock as a band doesn't really have like anything but like their little hooded death dudes running around or anything. So if they had Eddie Riggs with them all the time, number one, he's ridiculously fucking overpowered. He can fix anything and do anything. He'd be so kick-ass to have on the show all the time. So I'm hoping in some kind of way that they decide to just hire Jack Black and Tim Schafer gives the A-OK and keep Eddie Riggs on there. You know, that's a shot in the dark, but god damn would that be fucking awesome, huh? I bet you think so too. Graphically, the game is really nice, though. Like, all the character models and everything inside the game have a very distinct look. So, you know, all the factions, they'll have, like, their own look. So even when they're coming from a mile away, you'll be able to see, oh, yep, that's them, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go kick their ass and everything. And whenever it cuts to story segments and everything, just, like, the way that everybody looks, you can see that the emotion that they're expressing and everything. It's very cartoonish, but at the same point, like, not so cartoonish that you're just like, is this some Saturday morning type bullshit? How the fuck am I gonna take this serious? But no, it's pretty cool. The world in general, like, it's just neat to see whenever they have, like, you know, they'll have, like, the big iron cross and everything somewhere, then they'll have, like, a gigantic sword, like, driven into the ground in another place, and these are big landmarks that you'll come across. Like, they have the one thing, it's kind of like, imagine the Wall of China, but it's just a gigantic wall of, like, big-ass speakers and everything, kind of like the Marshall amps that you would see whenever you go to a concert. Well, this is like a whole lot of them, and basically, like, if you walk through there, somebody would just crank the shit to 11, you'd instantly explode into, like, thousands of pieces. Even, like, your molecules would just right off the planet. You'd be gone. But it's kind of cool that they have stuff like that set up and everything. Like, it's neat to see that they put, like, all this work into all the little different areas and just add, like, a little touch of flair to this and that. Also, one of the cooler areas is whenever you're going down to see Ozzy to go and upgrade your car, it's just neat to see, like, how the area looks, because pretty much it looks like you just drove into the mouth of hell. And Ozzy pops up, and when he shows up and everything, it's kind of neat, because it's like just this little bouncing thing of lava forms on him, explodes, and there you go. You have the fucking Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, there to help you upgrade your car and your guitar. So, yeah, that's badass. One interesting aspect to the game happens to be the fact that the world is kind of split up into its own factions. Now, whenever you're going and you're traveling around through the story mode, you'll come across more and more different creatures. Like, each area will have kind of its own distinctive look and everything. And some of the factions will have their own look, too. You have the people that kind of have, like, the whole glam rock looking thing. Back in the 80s, there was the whole hair metal scene that went on where everybody pretty much, if your hair was bigger and crazier looking, and then you pretty much were the talk of the town. You also looked like a fucking parrot that got a fucking shotgun filled with makeup blown right into your fucking face, but, you know, whatever. They sucked, and it's kind of fun beating the shit out of guys like that. Then you have the goth kind of, like, emo look. It's kind of like a cross between, like, the emo look now and, like, I don't know, the goth kids who were into Marilyn Manson, like, quite a few years ago. So it kind of just mashed them together. You have guys like that. And then you have the dudes who look like the typical heavy metal guy, who pretty much just look like thrash metal dudes. You know, they got the blue jeans and everything and ripped up black t-shirts and shit, and they got the long hair and stuff. So, yeah, they pretty much look like, me, I guess. Except for they have, like, these big bulging neck and their fucking eyebrows come down like this, and you can't see their eyes. They're also half retarded, so, yeah, that's kind of cool. But they say a lot of funny shit. Gotta appreciate that. But it's just kind of neat that each little area has its own distinctive look, its own setup. Also, in addition to all the different factions that are running around, there's also a lot of different monsters. Now, the thing that I like about the monsters is that the monsters actually fit with some of the factions. For instance, there's actually like a little jungle type area. The faction there happens to look a lot like people from Kiss. And it's these chicks, they got like, you know, the real outrageous looking clothes, big tits and everything, and they're riding around on these monsters that are kind of clothed like them. And they shoot fire and everything everywhere, similar to how Gene Simmons would just shoot fire out of his mouth on stage. It was real extravagant and like over the top, but it worked for that area. And stuff like that's really cool, just because it's like, oh, I get it. You know, there's like little underlying themes that if you're a fan of that band or a fan of the music in general, you can kind of catch on to things, and you end up growing an appreciation for stuff like that. You know, when I see stuff like that, I'm just like, wow. And I take that into account whenever I was doing this review, because I was just like, oh, I remember this, and this, and this, and this, and this. I gotta let other people know about that. And that's pretty cool, you know, just seeing anything like that. Another example is with the whole, like, goth emo type look. They had like a lot of like ghostly apparitions and like just random things that kind of look like they were undead. And stuff like that was kind of cool because that fits with that whole entire thing. And I just like the fact that they did that in general because, I mean, it just helped like flesh out the world. So you weren't seeing like the same thing everywhere that you went, you know. It wasn't going to get boring or tired or anything like that. So yeah, when it comes to variety, the world definitely has it. But the only downside to it is probably the fact that if you've played the demo to it, and you haven't played the full-length game, the demo kind of gives you the feeling that this is just a hack and slash game. Like, you just run around and you're just like swinging through shit and killing stuff. But it's actually like a very complicated real-time strategy game. Like, it's an RTS and kind of like a racing game at the same time in a big open world. Like, it combines together a lot of things that you wouldn't normally see put together within one game. And that will be hard for some people that aren't really like savvy with those type of games and everything. And I actually wish that this would allow for a keyboard and mouse setup, because I think it might be easier for some people if you could just hotkey a bunch of things, because the controller only has so many buttons. But given the fact that they're limited by the amount of buttons, you know, on the face and the shoulders and everything like that of a controller, I think they did a really good job with it. One minor complaint though, I wish you could jump. Now, that might be kind of weird, because when you're playing the game, I actually asked a couple of people I know that played through the game, I'm like, did you know she can't jump, like, at all? And they were just like, no. Wow, you can't. That's fucked up. And you'd think that you would, because there's lots of areas you're just, like, traveling through. And it's not like it's needed or anything. You know, you can go through the game just fine without it, but it would just be nice to just have Eddie and go. That's all. Just a simple little fucking jump. But, yep, they don't really have that. And like Dan had said, God's Immortal Gauntlet, The driving, whenever you're doing the brakes and everything, it can get a little bit stiff. So there was tons of times, well, I can't say tons of times, there were moments where I was driving along and unfortunately kind of careened right off a cliff, and my car just went boom and exploded, and I was dead. And it kind of sucked, all because the control just needed a little more tweaking. But yeah, again, there are minor complaints, but there are things, if they do decide to ever get the sequel going, I would love to see them actually handle those and make the game super awesome. So, my final verdict for Brutal Legend, I will score the game 8.9. Yes, it's a couple of points higher than what Dan gave it, but fuck it. I'm more forgiving, that's all I can say. But here's the thing. The game, most definitely, despite any score that I give it, doesn't matter what the number really is, the game is worth every single minute of your time. If you have not played it, go out and get it. Seriously, the game is like $20 right now. I see it in some places for like $15. So that wraps up my review. I'm glad that I got to finally do a co-op review with God's Immortal Gauntlet, Dan Johansson. Because just so happens he's the fucking man, and he's also the bad motherfucking guitarist that did my intro that all you guys have been like, holy shit, that's awesome. So, as always, ladies, gentlemen, nerds, and fucking metalheads, game the fuck on.